Ian and Dangerous prototypes here, and I've got Kirby and Hardhua of Plunify on the line. Plunify is an online compiler for field programmable gate array and complex programmable logic devices. I like it because the manufacturer's compilers are really huge, and it takes a really long time to download them. The Xilinx version, I believe, is about 4 gigabytes. And also, they're pretty confusing when you're just getting started out. It can be intimidating to find your way around these giant compilers for field programmable gate arrays. The Plunify service has a really simple web interface where you upload your files, they compile online, and you get an email when it's done. So I think that's a really cool service that helps out beginners especially. You say it's more than just an online interface though. So could you tell us a little bit about what Plunify is?
Sure. Well, the online we have our main value proposition is actually to accelerate the chip design process, especially at the end, closer to a deadline where you have a crunch of IT resources and also perhaps software licenses. So the online interface is a means to that end, if I may say so. It represents a convenient way to make use to kind of offload this compilation requirements to the cloud. And our end goal is really to speed up the process by leveraging on cloud resources, and also to have sort of an ecosystem of complementary end-to-end design flows on the cloud.
And you are going to try to support multiple manufacturers. Who do you have now, and what's your plans for the future?
So we have what we have now is a beta version made up of a few open source simulators and also FPGA vendor toolsets just as a beta implementation to see, first of all, if the users will like it. And we've received requests from users for, say, complementary simulation tools that they have features closer to what the commercial versions have. For example, mixed language simulations, and also further downstream, perhaps even PCB-related tools.
And you're currently not charging because you're in beta, but the goal is eventually a paid service.
That's right. We're hoping to kind of bring sort of a SaaS-based, a software as a service-based model to benefit the industry in general. So the vendors, they get to tap into markets that were kind of previously inaccessible, and of course the end users would benefit a lot from this kind of a pay-as-you-go model of usage.
When did you start Plunify?
The idea itself began in 07, but we officially incorporated in 09, late 09.
Do you guys both have a background in field programmable gate arrays?
I have a background in electrical engineering. I used to work for Xilinx, one of the FPGAs or field programmable gate array manufacturers. Kirby has a background in computer science. So it's really, we bring kind of a set of complementary skills to the table in this case.
You guys are based in Singapore.
That's right.
Is Plunify a full or part-time job for you there?
Full-time. Oh, very full-time.
And what's it like to do a startup in Singapore?
I think Kirby could speak better to that because he has prior startup experience.
I think I only have startup experience in Singapore, so I don't know what it is like in other countries. Well, for a start, I think the government here plays a big part because they have a lot of grants and schemes to help startups off the ground. So if you have a good idea, you can pretty much approach the government. There's lots of different kind of funds you can apply for and get some seed money to start it off. Yeah, in that sense, I think the government is very different here. But beyond that, the VC and the angels community here is almost it's almost non-existent. I mean, there are a couple of them here, but then you hear the same names over again. Yeah, so that's some of the limitations we have here. But I think things are changing. We're seeing a lot more activity nowadays. In the past, there wasn't any communities or meetups or nowadays you get emails about this event for startup, that event for startup. So everything is kind of improving. Yeah.
If I may add also, with respects to the market, in Singapore being a very small market for products like ours, we have to look globally right from the onset, and that's also shaped a lot of our long-term kind of our strategies for this project.
Are you privately funded, or is most of your funding coming from these government sources?
We began with our own savings, privately funded, and along the way we've gotten seed funding from one of the government-run funds.
The reason we're talking today is we worked together to get some tutorials for our Xilinx CPLD dev boards into the Plunify service. And you made a really nice, slick interface where the user could choose the demo package and it would download to their account. And then from there, it was about 2 or 3 steps more to compile it and having a working project. But Xilinx hasn't given you a license to use the compiler in that way yet, so we haven't been able to launch it. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened, as much as you're comfortable telling us?
Sure. First of all, may I just say that the Blaster board, V2 board, is really a nice piece of work. The tutorials that you gave us really was simple to work with. It really took just a few steps for us to enable them to be used on our platform. So with regards to Xilinx and also the other FPGA vendors, we are in advanced discussions with them, and it's getting to the business end of the negotiations, whereby they would prefer Xilinx, for example, would prefer us to not officially have their compilers or their software on the web for users at this point in time. That's kind of the message that we got from Xilinx. Does that answer your question?
Is there anything anyone can do to help? Do you think they will ever be on board in the future?
I guess one of the concerns might be that, and we get the sort of the feel, is that it might cannibalize some of their existing software sales by having a SaaS product out there, and also with a design, you need not just the software tools, but you also have IP. So, and oftentimes a user might use IP that is licensed from another vendor apart from Xilinx. So there are kind of legal licensing issues that will have to be worked out with those parties as well before, I guess, the overall solution can be released to the public. So it would definitely help a lot if end users were to send a message to these vendors and providers that they would really welcome a solution like ours, where it could they would then eventually realize that, hey, we're not able to sell to this group of end users in the past, but with this kind of service, we're able to sell to them. So I think that would definitely help. It would definitely help to have end users feedback this kind of opinions back to Xilinx or an IP vendor, or the partners that we're looking to work with.
Did you start with the free version of the Xilinx compiler, or did you use one of their licensed compilers?
Free versions.
That makes sense. It seems like they would be more open to allowing you to use their free version than if you had licensed a copy and then were making that available on the web, because they already make that free compiler available to anyone to download.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we thought. I mean,
that's what we thought.
Yeah.
We definitely don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers along the way. Yep.
How about the other companies? You currently support Altera, field programmable gate arrays and CPLDs. Have they been more receptive to your project?
Yes, I would say so.
Do you have a working agreement with them now?
We are in the midst of establishing that agreement, and it's also at that kind of level where we can't really say much, and I apologize for that. But yeah, that definitely they have been very receptive to this idea.
That's great to hear. Have you looked at Lattice, for example? I believe they've been making a huge effort to get the DIY community involved with their XO boards.
Yeah, and we like their products. People have been telling us also that they like what Lattice has to offer. So unfortunately, being a startup, we kind of have we're focusing on Xilinx and Altera at the moment. We would welcome any dialogue with Lattice, but it's more of a limitation on resources rather than sort of focus. Well, we're focused on the big two.
Yeah. Actually, we have made some contacts with Lattice in the past, but then yeah, I think somehow it went a bit cold, and then yeah, and then Altera came along, and then we were talking more with Altera after that. Yeah, it's not that we don't want to talk to Lattice, it's just that yeah, we would love to talk to them, in fact, if you have any recommendations. Yeah.
What are your future plans for Plunify?
So we are focusing on this acceleration of crunch periods at this point. We see ourselves as going to the broader market, the EDA market, in the long term. And
I guess it's only logical to look into the EDA market, because right now, I mean, we have a lot of feedback from users who says that you guys need a better simulator. The open source one you're providing is not good enough. And yeah, and we see a tool chain of chain of complementary tools that will make it very convenient and useful for the users. Imagine you can run a whole suite of tools in the cloud without having to download the files, do some kind of conversion, or in between tools. Yeah. So we are working towards that kind of solution.
But for the time being, we are focusing really on the batch processes, the ones that take a lot of time. The GUI intensive ones will likely not provide such a good user experience if they're online at this point. That's kind of what users have been telling us. Yeah. So we're working towards we have the web interface as the interface that we work together on. We also have a scripting interface, in fact, for engineers end users who just want to use their existing tools or existing scripts. And we do have something that integrates directly with those scripts, so that they could run it from their desktops, offload the designs quickly to the cloud, and get the results back without ever going to a browser, if should they prefer that approach.
Yeah. The idea is that they can use whatever tools they are comfortable with, and then run a script which we provide, and then do some simple configuration, and the scripts will do all the encryption, uploading to the cloud, running, and then getting the results back. Yeah. So we are focusing on that, and we hope to get that done in the next few weeks, in fact. Yeah.
And we're really hoping that end users could tell us what they think of such an approach, whether what they like about it, what they don't like about it. And of course, if there are opportunities to work together again with with dangerous prototypes on other tutorials or material, we're very open to that kind of discussion.
Yeah, we came up with a small Altera CPLD board that's exactly the same as the ones that we have with Xilinx. And so maybe we can get that one online once it's ready.
Yeah.
And your service, I think makes it a lot easier for me to sell my hardware because I can say, these guys have an easy way for you to go online and upload your stuff and you get an email when it's done.
You have no idea how happy we are to hear you say that. And just a similar story to that was told to us by a user who said he bought an evaluation board, and while waiting for the 4 GB download, he actually uploaded the reference design onto our site and immediately got a bit stream. We were in his office when he told us, so we had a good laugh. So apparently on one of the forums on LinkedIn, a user mentioned that he told a friend of his who's based in Ghana, of all places, about this service, and his friend
lecturer or teacher.
Yeah, was a lecturer in a school in Ghana, and he said, "Wow, a service like this, would give those his students kind of a chance to play around with FPGA design in a way that they've never been able to do so before. Because don't even talk about 4 GB downloads, right? You need to even have dedicated access to a PC, which is probably not that common in that part of the country. So he made the comment that because of a service like ours, these children in Ghana were able to, have a first taste of FPGA design, and that just blew us away. Hard to make it better. There's a lot of areas where we can improve on, so we're working hard to make that happen.
Okay, thanks, guys. It was really interesting talking to you, and thanks for sharing so much about the service.
Same here. We hope, there's a further chance to work together again.